Hey guys, it's Dr. Scott, and today I wanted to talk about a very specific nutrient called manganese. No, not magnesium, manganese. And over the last 8 months, I have developed a mild obsession with this because when I did a hair test analysis with my own functional medicine practitioner, the second lowest nutrient that I had on that test was manganese. And this was kind of surprising to me because I consume a cup or more of wild blueberries every day, and a cup is about 175% of the recommended daily amount of manganese. At the same time, I wasn't very surprised because through much of my life, my teens and 20s and early 30s, I don't think I consumed any manganese at all. And you use up a lot of manganese in your body when you are playing sports. And I have always been very active in playing sports. So I've become convinced that most of the world is sorely lacking in manganese. And when I have done hair tests with my own patients in the clinic, I find that 98% of them are deficient in manganese. So this hair test is a very simple functional medicine test. It's very inexpensive, and it gives a lot of good information as to where all your major minerals are in response to your stress. And so if you want to have this test done, please feel free to get in contact with me, as I'd be happy to get it going for you. Manganese is a mineral which gives food its dark colors along with iron. And in Chinese medicine, black or dark colored foods affect the function of the kidney. The kidney is in control of your brain, sexual function, reproductive function, urinary bladder function, and science has proven that manganese does affect these systems, as you will see very shortly. So the question that I have for you is, do you consume a lot of foods which have manganese in them? And if not, it will be a good thing to look at the list of the foods that are strongest in manganese so you can start to incorporate them into your diet. Manganese is known as the love element because out in the wild, if mothers do not have enough dietary manganese, they will literally abandon or stop caring for their young, which is why it is called the love element. Think of all the people in our world today that don't feel loved or have difficulty loving others, or all the people that are anxious or get angry very easily. These people are most likely deficient in manganese. So needless to say, I started to research what manganese does and how it benefits the body, and have grown to love the love element. As a result of it being low on my own hair analysis, I started taking a bottle of manganese B12 from Standard Process. One tablet contains 1,500% of the recommended daily amount for manganese. And then after I went through a bottle of that, which lasted 90 days, I started on a supplement called Ligaplex 2 from Standard Process. And this is a supplement I give to almost every one of the athletes that come into my clinic as well, because it keeps your ligaments and tendons strong. And so to purchase either one of these products, you can do so through the online pharmacy I use on the internet called FullScript. You can check out the link below for that. And through FullScript, you can use an HSA card, and the prices generally tend to be cheaper than they are on Amazon. So needless to say, after 6 months of supplementation with manganese, I finally started to balance out my levels, and I have noticed quite a few effects in my body from supplementing with that. After that, I stopped supplementing with that. Now I just focus on consuming a large amount of wild blueberries, oats, and other things that ensure that I get at least 200-300% of the recommended daily amount for manganese every day. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what manganese does in the body. Number one, it contributes to you having good levels of energy along with iron. People who are deficient in manganese tend to be tired and worn out. Manganese is also needed to produce thyroxine, which is one of your thyroid hormones. And number two, it controls nerves. So people who feel stressed out constantly, like things are getting on their nerves, manganese is definitely a very important nutrient for people like that. Number three, it increases resistance. People are resilient, full of strength, and flexible with life situations when they have adequate levels of manganese. Number four, it coordinates thoughts and actions. With deficiency, one feels slow, unable to process new concepts, and may not remember things very well. Number 5, it increases your ability to see clearly. So it can really help to sharpen eyesight, whether you have difficulty seeing far away or seeing close up. Number 6, manganese enhances recuperative ability. This is one of the nutrients that I give my athletes, as I just mentioned a moment ago. And I'm convinced that a lot of athletes have ligament problems, tendon problems, tears, and a lot of tendonitis because they are specifically deficient in manganese. So it's really important to take that. Number 7, it improves memory. Number 8, it acts upon the body's linings. Number 9, it facilitates healthy bile activity. Bile is necessary in order to break down all of the fat that you consume. Number 10, it increases tendon and ligament tension and capacity. So if you have joint pain, creaking, cracking, or if you find that you are stiff when you wake up first thing in the morning or stiff after sitting in a chair for long periods of time, manganese can be what is needed for you. It also helps women with menstrual cramps. It can lower back pain. It can help deal with frequent urination and also can help you feel stronger sexually. Number 11, it enhances intellectual power. So it sharpens the brain. Number 12, it keeps hair thick, full, and dark. People have been known to reverse gray hair and turn their hair black again when they get sufficient levels of iron and manganese. Now, on these hair tests that I usually do, iron is definitely the lowest one for almost everybody on the tests. And the reason why is because people aren't getting enough dietary copper or bioavailable copper. And in order for copper to become bioavailable, you have to have magnesium. And so there's a cascade and a synchronicity with all of these nutrients. And so if you have adequate levels of bioavailable iron and manganese, the hair can definitely start to turn black again. And lastly, manganese is necessary to create manganese superoxide dismutase, which is critical for the function of your mitochondria, the energy producing parts of your cells. If you have low energy, it can be a significant factor for people. Manganese superoxide dismutase scavenges superoxide radicals produced within the mitochondria and can protect mitochondria from the harmful effects of reactive oxygen species, otherwise known as free radicals. Okay, now let's talk about some synergistic nutrients with manganese. Those would be zinc, choline, and vitamin K. Some antagonistic nutrients to manganese on the absorption side would be calcium, phosphorus, iron, and soy protein. And metabolically, it would be copper, magnesium, iron, and vanadium. There are some signs of excessive manganese in the body. Most of the time, it can be derived from drinking water. And excessive levels of manganese can intensify sensations in the body and also allow your emotions to become exaggerated. So although it is exceedingly rare, there can be cases where you have an excess of manganese in the body. Okay, now let's talk about some of the signs of manganese deficiency. We've already touched on some of them, but let's go over a very succinct list of that. Number 1, deficiency in manganese can make ailments worse at night. Number 2, it can produce burning sensations in the body. Number 3, you can have mental confusion. Number 4, you can be angry, quarrelsome, and depressed. You may be prone to things getting on your nerves. Number 5, you may get headaches from motion. Number 6, your senses may become dulled, blunted, or erratic. You may feel like a dull, uncaring, or insensitive person if you have a deficiency of manganese. Number 7, you may get swollen glands, such as the thyroid gland, because remember, manganese is necessary in order to make thyroid hormone. Number 8, you may have an aversion to being touched. You may be overly sensitive. Number 9, you may have an aversion to work and effort. Like everything may seem like it requires so much effort to do. This can be the result of a manganese deficiency. Number 10, you can be impatient and anxious. Number 11, you can have cravings for calm environments. You don't want to be around lots of people or in loud places. Number 12, you can be more prone to nightmares. Number 13, you can have reduced appetite and no thirst. Number 14 and 15 go hand in hand. You can have creaky, cracky joints, and you can also have pain in the joints, similar to like gout-like symptoms. Now let's talk about the foods that are highest in manganese. Number one, which tops the list, is the Missouri black walnut. 1 cup has 4.8 milligrams or 212% of the recommended daily amount. My personal favorites are blackberries and wild blueberries. As we mentioned, 1 cup of wild blueberries has 175% of the recommended daily amount. So I very commonly see when people come in with brain fog and poor memory that when they start consuming wild blueberries regularly, those symptoms start to abate very quickly. Other foods on this list include Spanish black radish, other nuts and seeds like walnuts, almonds, coconuts, sunflower, chestnuts, hazelnuts, and Brazil nuts. Also are apples, apricots, black lentils, black quinoa, black rice, black sesame seeds, black beans, black-eyed peas, celery, rice in general, kelp or seaweed, dark leafy greens, oatmeal, and pineapple. So in summary, if you want to be more loving, have more patience, more energy, have less painful joints, maintain strong tendons and ligaments, have a sharp memory, and keep your mind young, a little manganese might be what's right for you. But don't just start taking manganese. Make sure you get tested to ensure where your levels are at so that you don't create an excess. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe below and have a wonderful day.